Okay, we there? Okay, good. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Um, let's just keep painting. So from last night, I decided to change the name of the subject of what we're painting again because I do not and cannot endorse the product that I'm painting right now. But that said, I'm enjoying painting it. I just don't want to give people that don't deserve your money. Okay, so what I decided to do is actually call. Oh wow, this guy looks like a mess on screen. You can see there's all kinds of stuff is still drying on him. What I decided to do was call this Fistful of Kung Fu after a game system that you might use miniatures like this for. So you might use these guys for something like a Fistful of Kung Fu, as opposed to the game that they actually come with. And I'm much happier having that show up as the title of the stream rather than the actual game that they're from. Am I being a little hyperbolic here? Possibly, but that's okay. I just, like I said, I just don't, and I just don't want to give these guys any business, and not have a clear conscience of it. That said, if you do want to use them for a Fistful of Kung Fu, that may not be a bad idea. Like, this is really shiny, and it's really not that shiny. It's just wet. Parts of it are just wet right now. And then I understand it just doesn't look good. We can always come back and do a little more work on the skin, but man, that just looks really stupidly shiny. I don't know. I may have to try to calm that down a little bit. Okay, well, we'll work on that. I mean, they all, like him and Bolo, look like they're just too shiny. Let's just work on that, actually. So I guess, yeah, normally that's normally the type of formula I run for skin, but if it's too, I guess if it's just too shiny, we'll run some flat on it and flatten it out. It just doesn't, kind of a bummer, but okay, that's fine. We can certainly work with that. What I'm gonna do then is I'm just gonna make some glazes so that way I don't like overwrite too much of the work that we already did, getting them that far into the skin tone. So we're just gonna use a couple of glazes to kind of get them back to some sort of flat state. Because the other guys, I don't know, they don't look that bad. The other guys look okay. It's just those two, like such big, when you have such big areas like this, it just looks like, it just looks so shiny on camera. Let's turn this down a little bit. It just looks like too much sheen, really. Almost like I painted a gloss on there. But it's not a gloss, it's just I guess it's just a reflection of, some of the sheen of the flesh wash that I used. But I can totally skip the flesh wash. I mean, if it's way too shiny, we can totally tone this bad boy down, right? I'll just tell myself that, and I'll believe that it's true. But it actually is true. You can calm this sucker down. It's not that big a deal. And if that doesn't work, we'll just paint some bunch of tattoos on Bolo here, and he'll be good as new, right? So with this glaze, I'm going to go over the areas, but it should be translucent enough to continue to let all the highlighting and shading stand. It's just going to kind of blend more of this stuff together. and then the other part of this is hopefully take some of the sheen out of this. So that looks really shiny. I think it's just the way that the light is catching, like the overhead light is catching this stuff, but it's not too bad. So if you're just tuning in, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. Tonight, we're working on these miniatures that come with a game called Dragon Tide. And and I backed this on Kickstarter. We did not have myself and other backers did not have a good experience with this Kickstarter. I did not have a good experience with this company, and therefore, I'm not trying to promote these guys because that's a problem. Well, Dolph Lundgren here, he looks, he doesn't look terrible, but it's just so much sheen. We'll calm that down. The nice part about this is tanned highlight is you can calm it down without giving up too much of the shading or the highlighting. It's just should all look pretty good. What's weird there is like this is P3 Flesh Wash. Like P3 Flesh Wash is pretty bulletproof. Like I've never really had an issue with Flesh Wash. I would say in this case it's probably more the plastic substrate and the tones that I had underneath it. But we're just gonna paint tonight nice and chill, nice and quiet. And we'll try to, gain some ground on these guys. Guile's shirt is green, right? I forget. I'm gonna have to look up some art for Guile. Find out. Anything else that's just like way too shiny? These guys aren't doing so bad, but even like the palm of that guy's hand, too shiny. So I guess I don't want to do too many washes with this type of plastic. This isn't the most rigid plastic. I mean, it's still somewhat hard plastic, but I don't know. It's not great. Okay, let's get some like off-white on these guys, like some bone color and that kind of thing, so I can do the wrap and all that all that good stuff. And I'm just going to be painting here. If you guys have any topics for discussion, you have any pressing matters that you would like me to rant about, or if you just want to come in and troll me and get me to rant about something, also acceptable. Also acceptable on this live stream. Let's see. That's not bad. What's that? This fell off. I need like an Iraqi sand, or like a really pale beige. Here's an Iraqi sand. That's perfect. Get some Iraqi sand going. And we're going to use this kind of as an undercoat for all the like white shirt parts of the models, particularly the two guys that are wearing the more traditional, Han style kung fu outfits. Like this guy, who actually is, the weird thing is, according to the book, this guy is Tiger Ip, but the other guy has the tiger symbol on his base. So I'm a little bit at a loss here as far as like who is actually who here. But nonetheless, we're going to give him a white t-shirt. And he should also have white cuffs here. It looks like he has a couple of chains on him too. It's interesting. So we'll get to the chains in a minute. Okay. And then this dude also is rocking like a white shirt underneath. Gotta say, this guy might be my favorite sculpt in the whole game. So this model will probably be my Fistful of Kung Fu protagonist mini. I just have to find people who will play a Fistful of Kung Fu with me. I think I can though. I mean, because of the Batman community kind of having the terrain needed and like a bunch of models that we can use, and that a Fistful of Kung Fu, the games tend to be much shorter than Batman, like an hour or less. I think I can get some buy-in from the guys like, hey, you know, if you're not playing Batman, let's play some of this together. Just kind of take it from there. I'm also gonna undercoat the dragon here because I want to paint the dragon a different color. So if I undercoat it this kind of beige white color, then in theory anyways, it should be easier to change color, like to paint into something else. I don't know what color the dragon will actually be when I do paint it. I just want it right now. I want it to not be this blue color. Because I want it to be, I don't want to have to paint, you know, if I'm going from blue to red or something like that, I don't want to have to paint layers and layers of red and never have it look right. But we'll chew on that. We'll try to figure out what color that should be. In addition, we might as well like get this because I know this is going to be a different color. So I might as well at least get a base coat of this Iraqi sand down. Because that for sure will be a different color. Really cool. Really cool sculpt. I wish they had more of these bases because I would stamp this on every, you know, every Shale Han miniature I own or whatever would have something like that. Oh, the other thing with this Iraqi sand is I'm going to use it and kind of overbrush this wood, you know, give the wood a little more texture to it. And we'll fix that later. For right now, give it a quick overbrush. You know, mainly looking for the edges, that kind of stuff, because that'll play a factor here in a little bit. Okay. So I don't know if anyone's joined us yet. It does say that someone's in the chat, or somebody's viewing at least. So hello, person who's viewing that is lurking. It's okay. I don't blame you for lurking. But if you wanted to say something, cool also. But yes, I respect your right to lurk, sir, or ma'am, or whoever. Ma'am, miss, madam, something. It's me, junkie. I'm gonna say you used that word junkie to describe yourself. It's me, junkie. It's me. I'm here. Yeah. We're gonna get this dude rolling. Love the bolo sculpt too. Man, can't wait to start playing some games with these guys. I'm not sure if it's going to be the Dragon Tides game or if it's going to be Fistful Kung Fu only. For sure, I want to play a game of Fistful Kung Fu. But we'll see. Get your paint on. Get your paint on. And then we got, oh, I got to look up pictures of Guile. Because the question is, what color is Guile's shirt? Dun, 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 dun. So I'm just going to go Guile. Dun, 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 dun. Guile's shirt is definitely green, and then he has brown, green, and kind of beige camo pattern on his feet. So this vest part is green, kind of the same. Wow, this is the problem with having all these different stand sizes. I have to move it up and down to get. Oh man, he just looks so shiny. He looks like Guile and Jermaine Jackson had a kid together. All right. So in that case, I should probably throw down some camo then with this deal. He has a cool American flag tattoo on his shoulder too. That I might have. I might just have to put on there. It looks like he has one on each shoulder actually. Guy has 2 tickets to the damn Murica gun show. That we're back down here. You may think you're Murica, but are you Guile with 2 tattoos of American flag, Murica? So I'm just gonna put, there's actually this beige really isn't a big part of the camo pattern. So I'm not gonna sweat it too much. Okay. And let's get Guile's hair at least base coated real quick. Oh, well, hold on. Before I leave that color entirely, we're gonna. So Bolo he kind of has like a white stripe on his trunks. Because he's Bolo, damn it. That's why. Bolo listens to one guy, Bolo. Now his name when Enter the Dragon was being filmed was Yang Si. That was his actual actor name, Yang Si. But he became so famous under the role of Bolo that they just basically changed his stage name to Bolo Young. So your fun little kung fu factoid is that this dude's name is actually Yang Si, but we're calling him Bolo. Anybody else? Does anybody else have a thing that needs a thing? No, we're pretty good. Okay, let's move on to the next part of this white. Actually, before I do that, let's get, let's do Guile's hair. I might do some freehand tattoos of the American flag on his guns, just because I think that would look correct, and it'd be a neat little callback to Guile. You're just joining us. Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Right now I'm painting Guile. Not like actual Guile from Street Fighter, but kind of better. Dolph Lundgren. Painting a Dolph Lundgren model that could easily pass for Guile. Sonic Boom. This is somehow turning into a therapeutic thing to hang out here and see others paint. Well, I mean, what's up, Nelson? This is what it is for me. I mean, this painting stuff is therapeutic for me. You know, you have a kind of a longer day at work and you just want to come home. In my case, come home, try to be a good dad for a little bit, get my kids to hang out, eat some dinner, then try to put them to sleep, and then have a little bit of this time just to kind of unwind. So this is very therapeutic for me. I don't know. You may have been. I don't know if like Adam or Dizzy feel the same or not. Just had a bunch of green go into Guile's hair. So now he's got. I'll fix it, but let me try. I'm just trying to get as much of it off the hair before I paint the next layer on. There, he's got a little chlorine in his hair. We'll fix that. But yeah, this is like super therapeutic for me. It's just a nice quiet time in the evening, and I get to sit here and hum the theme song to Guile from Street Fighter. I don't know why I keep missing here. Look at that. I'm gonna have to clean that green off. That's okay. I'm like saying it's therapeutic while I'm in the middle of like this really kind of frustrating annoyance because I keep making mistakes. But even like making mistakes in this game, or sorry, in this hobby, doesn't bother me too much. I can, because it's just paint, you just always come back and you can always come back and redo it. Not that big a deal. So I don't sweat that too much. It's just, for me, it's just a nice way to kind of end my day. I start looking forward to it. As the evening winds down, I'm starting to help put the little babies to sleep and that kind of thing. And starting to look forward to, oh, it's time to break out the brushes and paint. And I'm very, very fortunate that, I have a really understanding wife that kind of gets like, hey, I need my time to do this. Likewise, she needs her time to just kind of unwind and be herself. And so we try to be understanding of each other. The question mark for this evening is going to be, is the chat suffering the way it was suffering earlier today? Because on some of the feeds and stuff earlier today, some of the comments were taking like minutes to come through, like upwards of like 11, 12, 13 minutes for it to come through. Let's just drop a little paint here. Have I lost a viewer? Somebody just took off like, damn it, he screwed up on the hair, and he broke out. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he was super mad. Maybe he was super mad at how I screwed up this green on his neck and his, like, the bottom of his face. Maybe. Yeah, it's not even dry, so I'm not going to go back in there for a little bit. Let's let that dry and then fix it. Well, she sort of understands. Completely okay? I don't know about that. I mean, there's still some misgivings about it, and you can't really blame somebody. Like when you don't have, when you don't have a passion for something that the other person has, it can be very hard to understand. Like, why do you have to constantly do this? Why do you have to constantly, be that guy that has to do that thing and all this kind of stuff? So, yeah, she understands, and she's super, super good about giving me time about that kind of stuff. But there's still a healthy amount of skepticism, I guess, and I guess kind of keeps you in check, because like that's the wrong. If you went unchecked and you just followed your dream, there's you kind of have two minds about it, right? You usually have like the tortured artist in a relationship, and then you have the other partner, maybe the more stable partner, and the more stable partner is trying to keep the artist grounded while also trying to support them. Like you have to, like if your significant other or whatever is like trying to chase their dream, but it's like a really, really ambitious dream. Like it's, if I said, hey, I'm going to become a cage fighter or something, and I'm not in good shape, and I'm small, and I don't have good bone structure, and I don't diet or exercise or anything like that, well, it's not really worthwhile for you to back somebody like that, because the odds of them actually becoming a successful cage fighter based on what you know about them is not very good. On the other hand, you can also kill someone's dreams that might be a lot better than you think. You think, and you see like that in, I guess I'm going to use a really, really old example, but like if you ever watched The Office, before Jim and Pam got together, Pam was with that Roy dude, and Roy never really supported her art, and she wanted to pursue art, and she did an art show, and she went to art school and all this stuff after she broke up with Roy, and it was all cool and everything. But even after all that, she still ended up not going on to be being a famous artist. Now, luckily for Jim, she recognized it, at some point and said, "Look, I'm not going to be uh, I'm not going to be this crazy famous artist person." And she had to just kind of accept her fate and go on and basically just go back to work in the office. Um, and I don't know. I think a lot of people are conflicted by that because it's like, oh, she gave up too soon, or you gotta follow your dream, man. You gotta just you think of Shia LaBeouf or something like, just do it, some shit like that, right? And I can't do that. I can't support that. It's just a fact that you're not, that most likely you're not going to be the next David Bowie. You're not going to be the next rock star or film star or even porn star or anything like that. You might be, if you're really really good at art, even if you're really good at your art, like you're a really good singer, you're a really good dancer, actor, whatever, it's still somewhat unlikely. But you have to, when you're the partner of somebody like that, you kind of have to balance it, like, um, and it actually kind of reveals, how you feel about their actual chances of becoming something that they dream of, right? If I dreamt, oh, I'm just going to be this, professional painter, and I'm going to make 300 grand a year. Not that any professional miniature painter makes 300 grand a year, but you know what I'm saying. Like if I said that to my spouse, and she's like, "Oh, well, that's your dream, huh?" But she recognized that, like, look, man, I'm I'm average, maybe slightly above average at best. That's a pretty ridiculous, unrealistic dream to follow. Now she's in a tough spot because it's like I'm crazy gung ho about fulfilling my dream, and she's she's on the ground, and she's like, dude, this guy, he's gonna make, you know maybe at best $20 per mini or something like that, and she has to figure out how to temper that message to me. She has to figure out how to get me to see that without totally crushing my spirits or you know changing my life. Alternately, what if I was that good? What if I was that good and my partner was like, meh, I just want him to work his job and be stable and take care of me and the family. That happens too. So I don't really, there's no really, really foolproof answer here. There is no perfect answer to, if your partner wants to be something like that, because you can gauge it. You can gauge it, and you can be correct in your assessment. Like, no, this person is not going to be the next Guy Fieri. Like, this guy is not going to be on TV, right? So you can assess it perfectly, but then how do you don't have the best means of delivering that message to your partner, and you'll probably, even if you're if you're a good reasonable partner, you'll still second guess yourself because you're like, no, what if they really are that good? What if I'm just being a like a Yoko or a dick, like somebody that's like crushing their dream? Like, what do I know about synchronized swimming to tell me that my husband couldn't be the first, successfully competitive male synchronized swimmer who's a solo act? Like, what do I know about that? And why am I crushing this guy's dream? So I don't know. I've seen it both ways. I've seen um, supportive partners for this hobby, this like miniature gaming hobby, and what they have to put up with. And and I'm looking across the room or whatever. They're going, oh man, your husband is not, I'm sorry, but he's not going to make it in this business. His game sucks, right? His miniatures aren't very good. He doesn't have a good plan to get him there. And I applaud the men and women that support their partners no matter what. I get that. There's so much value to doing that. But at the same time, it's like, especially if you have kids, right? Kids to me just totally changes the whole dynamic, right? And again, maybe I'm wrong. I saw enough Hollywood movies to argue both sides of this point. But like, you know, I'm thinking of like a movie like Crooklyn, where the dad, like, he thought he was going to be uh, a big musician artist. He wouldn't play rock and roll in the clubs, even though that would make him the money. He refused to do that, and his family was poor all the time, and he was always just like the struggling artist. And then the other side of it, you see those other stories where it's like, oh, you know, you're the girl from Flashdance, and we want you to just be a spot welder for the rest of your life. And we don't care how good you are at ballet or whatever. We want you to be a spot welder by day, and we want you to be a stripper by night. You know, what does that even mean? La La Land was on the other day. What? What? Do they have a miniature? Oh, somebody's commenting on my other video. Oh, hey, what's up, Blade Wolf? Do they have a miniature that looks like Gordon Liu from 36 Chambers? Oh, man. So good. Anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, La La Land was on TV the other day. And my wife had it on. And, I'm like, oh, La La Land, right? I heard it was nominated for Academy Award and all this and that. And, and then this was like the conflict scene. By the way, spoiler alert, if you're like really into La La Land and you don't want me to ruin a scene from La La Land, like if you don't want me to ruin, anyway, spoiler alert. I don't think my viewership is like, oh damn, he just spoiled La La Land. Anyway, from what I gathered of the 20 minutes or so that I watched, apparently, what's his name? I forget the name of that actor. Jake McGuy, friend a thing, whatever. What was that? What's shoot? Ryan Gosling. There we go. Ryan Gosling, right? Apparently Ryan Gosling is like a jazz artist, right? And they live in LA, and they're supposed to be struggling, but for whatever reason they have this cool giant apartment and everything looks perfect and clean and all this other stuff, right? So he performs in a band with John Legend of all people, and he performs jazz. Do you like the jazz? He performs jazz, and and jazz is tough. The modern jazz scene is all but dead, right? There's not a lot of people out there going out like, man, I can't wait to hear some more jazz music. It's just not really the thing that it used to be. So he's like chasing his dream of being like a jazz musician, and he wants to have he wants to open up a nightclub where they play jazz and all this stuff, right? Um, and but he has this gig where he can do like more modernized version of music with John Legend and all this stuff, and he's not really into it because that's not really his dream. His dream is to be the club and be the guy and have it exactly the way he wants it to be, and it's not that. But he goes, he needs to make money, he needs to be something, make something, um, for himself, and so he goes ahead and he does it, and he starts getting really successful. And then his lady Emma Stone or whatever, instead of being, I don't know, this is the thing, like instead of being supportive of him, like, hey, I've been supporting this struggling artist, and yeah, it's not exactly the dream as he scripted it, but he's seeing success, and he might actually still be able to get his goal. And meanwhile, she's an actress, and she puts on like these like, one woman performances of Montana or Idaho or some whatever like off Broadway play, whatever. I don't even know what it is. So she's chasing her dream. He's chasing his dream. He starts getting successful because he's performing with John Legend and all this, and they're having dinner. It's supposed to be their celebratory dinner, and he wants her to go on tour with him and all this other stuff. And suddenly it breaks into an argument, and she's like, well, why not just continue to pursue your club? And I'm just gonna be I was like, dude, you can't win. You can't win if you're a person that's like chasing your dream, right? If you were that guy, and let's say he just only pursued the club. He only pursued his dream in the manner that he saw fit. Now, I didn't see the end of the movie, so I didn't see how this gets resolved. But we're just talking mess, because I always do that on this show. But if that's like you're supporting this guy, and that's him chasing his dream. It doesn't get there exactly the way he wants. Now you want him to do it exactly the way he wants. But go down that path for a second. Imagine if he did do that. Then they're poor the whole time, and they're struggling the whole time. And again, he's talking about a jazz club. So this isn't like great odds that this is ever really going to take off. Well, then who's to say that her complaint isn't, oh damn, why didn't you go? Who's to say her complaint isn't like the mom's complaint in Crooklyn? Like, just go and make the money, like support us and be something, right? So if he does it the club way, then her complaint could very well have been, well, get off your ass and get a job and be successful, do something, and then maybe we can talk about opening this nightclub. Instead, he does that, and she still complains. Like, she's still complaining. Like, well, you're a bum. You need to get off your ass. Like, start playing by some rules. Like, be successful. Instead, it's like, well, why do you play by the rules? How dare you make money? You're not chasing your dream. You're a bum. Like, I don't feel like the guy can win in that case. I really don't. I'm like, what the hell? Like, either I thought his response was perfectly acceptable. You sell out a little bit, make that cheddar, come back, and then do your dream. You know what I mean? Everyone knows people in Hollywood do stuff like that. Scorsese did stuff like that. He did movies that he knew people would watch, and then he went back and did pet projects. Like, that's not a bad. I don't understand, man. That's a cake and eat it too situation. I just so I was watching that scene, and I was like, well, what's her problem? Like, he's bringing home that cash, man. Like, he's the dude's a jazz musician who can make money. Do you have any idea how hard that is? Like, what are the odds that a guy can play a freaking, jazz flute? Or he was playing keyboard, but it's funnier if I say jazz flute. What are the odds that the guy's playing jazz flute can actually like pay bills, like make money, be on TV, be in magazines? Like, how can you not be happy about that? How many talented people way more talented than your, Kenny G's or whatever the hell else you want to bring, whatever example you want to bring up. Like, what are the odds that they get to actually do what they love for a living? What are the odds that we get to do what we love for a living? And instead, it's like, well, you ain't chasing that club the way you want. I was like, damn, that is freaking hardcore, man. Like, the dude cannot win. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Am I wrong? But I don't know. Let's read some comments, because I'm all over the place. It was hot garbage, wasn't it? There's an old IRC at Ralpartha monk with 2 nunchucks that could be converted into a 3-section staff to make him Gordon Liu's character from the 36 chain. Oh, nice. Gosling is fantastic in The Nice Guys. I will tell you my favorite Ryan Gosling movie, because most people don't know about this movie, and it's a dope movie. Okay, I I'm just gonna brag and say I knew about Ryan Gosling before a lot of people knew about Ryan Gosling, because he did a movie back in the day called True Believer. Okay, and True Believer is kind of a jacked up movie. It's a story of a Nazi, a neo-Nazi skinhead, uh, Jewish skinhead, right? Craziest story ever. So this guy, the character that Ryan Gosling plays, he's a he's a Jewish kid growing up in New York, and um, he goes to, I forget what they call it, the whatever the Torah school is, or the the Jewish equivalent of like catechism for us Catholics out there, right? And it's basically like a religious styled seminary school. So he's in those classes, and he starts talking about apocrypha and all of these other possibly non-canonical texts, and just kind of a different take on Judaism. And it ends up, growing up in that environment, he ends up becoming outcast because of the beliefs he held and some of the influences like his father had on him. He ends up, being a um, he ends up going to the other side. Like, he ends up becoming a neo-Nazi because he becomes so disenfranchised from the Jewish community that he becomes an anti-Semite. He gives these, so he goes around and like he gives these speeches, like he gives these like crazy, today you'd call it like alt-right or whatever, you'd call it like something like that. He gives these like anti-Semitic speeches that are freaking crazy. I don't know, it's just a really weird movie. It's got him, it's got Billy Zane in it, Teresa Russell is in it. There's It's like this really weird kind of indie movie that came out, and he was a relative unknown at the time, but really cool. That was like, oh, right, this Ryan Gosling kid, he's pretty rad. Um, Really interesting flick. But anyway, I thought you were talking about the James Woods Robert Downey Jr. True Believer for a minute. No, check it out. It's called True Believer. It's got like I said, it's got Ryan Gosling, uh, Billy Zane. Um, it's an indie film. It's a fairly indie film. So, but super good. Um, so I really liked him in that. I want to see The Nice Guys, because Nice Guys does look pretty good. It does look pretty funny. Um, and I do like Gosling. I think he's pretty cool. My wife does not think he's as hot as other people do. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what that means. So, anywho, we're just painting these dudes. But yeah, there. I know of people right now that are trying. They're trying to do their dream of, making a living or creating something within gaming. And it's like, man, and I'm on the sidelines going like, man, I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to try to make my own game, or I've always wanted to, really be part of some bigger endeavor to promote gaming. But those days are over for me. I went ahead. I had my 2 kids now, and I'm going to be a dad, and so all of this outreach stuff. I mean, I still do public events. You guys see me. I still do commission painting. I still game, relatively frequently. So I still have all of that stuff. But as far as like putting the kind of effort and energy into, say, designing a game, those days may be over. I did actually, I have actually written a couple of rule sets, but I've never really pursued them. Like I never, and a lot of it's because like, okay, well, I need to get off my ass and just put it out there and see what people think. And I probably will do that at some point because the rules are just about written. I just need to lock up that document a little bit more and then maybe do a little bit of play testing. But the idea there is not that this would suddenly become my career. It's that I just want to put together a game and just for fun and see if anyone enjoyed it. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at right now. If it were to sell, then cool, but you got to be realistic about that kind of stuff. Like there are good games that never sold. There are good ideas that should have done better that didn't. That's just life, man. Like man, I don't know. That's just how it goes. Like again, with the like acting and performing and stuff, like you can look at a talented actor out there. You can look at a talented professional performer and you can say, you know what? I guarantee you, somebody's out there that's more talented than this person at this thing. And we think that this person is the best tops in the world at doing something. But no, I bet you there's somebody out there that's uh, better. And that's the crazy part. That's the part. Kumite the game, that'd be dope. All right. So I'm just kind of all over the place right now with these. So what are you guys working on while I'm just getting some more colors down here? I don't know, man. Like, I'm always torn about the gaming stuff. It's because I really do kind of keep it compartmentalized from the other stuff in my life. Like my professional career, I really, really try to keep those two worlds apart, even though in some weird way they're kind of related. I do work in the architectural coatings industry. Like I work in paint and I paint. Um, but I keep them separate because um, my specific work environment, is not the type of place where, something like this would be seen as particularly positive. And it's weird. It's like, I think it's because like, from the older generation, we weren't, it's just not a thing. Like wait, you're a middle-aged man and you paint tiny little men. That doesn't go over so well, is what I'm saying. I'm working on nothing, been on a dry spell, long story, though I'm trying to get out of it. Oh yeah, the rut. It's like trying to, it, you can like try to lower your head and force your way through it. And I've done it that way. But I think the more effective thing is to really, really, really fall in love with the game. I do think that that's the most foolproof way to get out of your painting rut. You fall in love with the game, you fall in love with some miniatures, and the motivation will be there. The motivation to get back up and to paint stuff is going to be there. How are we doing on the comments anyways? Are we seeing like crazy delays? Are you guys like um, entering a comment and then is it taking me like 10 minutes or whatever to see? I can't tell. There's no way for me to tell um, whether or not I'm up to date with the with all the comments. So, since I did label this stream a fistful of kung fu, I'm curious if anyone here has heard of that game system from Osprey Games, or have you actually tried the game? You know, that game has been on my radar for at least 2 years. For like 2 years, I was saying, "Oh, we're gonna eventually play a fistful of kung fu. We're totally gonna play a fistful of kung fu." Telling all my friends that we're gonna do it. It's gonna be a thing. And so far it has never become a thing. And then, like maybe almost a year ago, um, Atomico Press, he put out a Kickstarter for some kung fu miniatures, and I hopped on that because I was like, "Oh, these are classic kung fu miniatures," and they were really cool set. So I painted them up, enjoyed those, and I was like, "Man, I could use these for a fistful of kung fu." And then it fell by the wayside for a little bit, and then you know, the other night, honestly, this happened just last night, is I was deciding, oh, am I going to stream more Emma Frost because I'm working on Emma Frost, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Let's paint something that's been sitting around for a while. Let's paint something that had just completely out of left field. And naturally, these miniatures are sitting in the box, in the board game box. I know I've heard of it, and I think I might have it in my mess somewhere. Cool. So started painting these last night, as you guys know, and then while I was at work today, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, what if this game isn't any good? What do I do with these pieces if the game sucks, right? And then the game, then Fistful of Kung Fu came back, and I'm like, that's what I could do with this. I could use these minis for a Fistful of Kung Fu, and they would be absolutely perfect, right? Because a Fistful of Kung Fu, you have to have a protagonist, and you have to have a bruiser on every crew that you run, essentially, right? So by that definition, I probably, with this box set, oh gosh, what is going on with that? With this box set, I ended up having, I'm going to end up having up to 8 protagonists, or more likely, 4 protagonists and 4 bruisers. It's just, there's something wrong with this guy's hair. It's just tracking. It's just picking up the weirdest. Just not working. I'm just missing a good free agent. Okay, for your Scarecrow crew? How many points are you short? We can make, I'm sure we can try to come up with some recommendations for you. Maybe golden yellow is probably a better highlight color for Guile's hair. There we go. It's a little bit better. So let's just get a little highlight color down. That green is just so strong that it's like showing up on the yellow because it's still in the bristles of my brush. Let's just do a little bit of a wash on that. And then we'll start painting in the bases. Because most of these guys are mostly done. They mostly come out at night, mostly. Yeah, not bad. I mean, this sculpt quality isn't that great. That's okay. Still a little shiny. Looks like a soft plastic paint job. 133 points left. Well, hey, I know what I would recommend. It's not quite enough to get Owlman in that list. Okay, let's do a little bit of highlighting here. Even just a little bit of dry brushing there. Where's I don't want glacier blue. I want wolf gray. I want like a pale blue gray is what I want. I think I have it. That's a good pale group lay. Yeah, not quite enough for Owlman, but Catman, hell yeah, and that's my recommendation. To the surprise of nobody, is Catman. Do Catman in that list, you know? Run him in that list, and then take Blackgate Prisoner, I believe 05, who has the smoke grenade, and run Catman with smoke grenade. Catman isn't really a bruiser though. So that's the one thing I would tell people. Catman is, and the reason why Catman is not a bruiser is he is better at defending than he is at attacking. Okay. Yes, he has claws. Yes, he has attack 5. You know, that's all good stuff. But strength 4 is kind of meh. That's probably the biggest hang up there. No combo with attack, no handy. Whereas defense 5 by itself is quite nice. You don't really need, not a whole lot else you might need there. If he was defense 5 acrobat, that would be disgusting. But no, he's not. So no real worries there. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Catman is awesome, but he's not. He's not going to put people away the way like a Strix would. He's not going to put. He can't hit people like the way anybody who has any sort of handy combo like Nightwing. Like look out for dudes like that. That's some real stuff right there. I figure out how to paint these bases. Oh, this guy's got a character on his back too. That's just cool. Let's find out. What is that? Get a little bit of the chain here. So I'm just doing kind of like a general dry brush on these bases. Because I'm not gonna, oh, this is he's supposed to have cash money at his feet. That's what that is. That's awesome. Okay. Like he just robbed a bank. That's rad. Okay, and then this guy's got like rubble and cinder block. He's got a I-beam, like a metal I-beam down there. So this guy's like straight out of the construction site, punching people. Turn it so you can translate for me. Okay, let's do it. I don't know if you can make out that character. It looks like tiger also. It's probably also tiger. Yeah, it says tiger. So this guy could be Tiger Man Ip. Well, he's called Tiger Ip in the game. So I'm going to paint that. Am I missing a reference here? Why would they both have references to tiger? Best Zodiac. As I am also a tiger, I will agree with you, Nelson. It is best Zodiac. Tiger is best Zodiac. And let's make this more, because everyone will hear us roar. Well, there's no groups of tigers, so I guess you don't call them prides. What would you ever? Not there is ever an assemblance of tigers. That's kind of the hallmark feature of the tiger is the fact that the tiger is like ultimately a loner. But like one tiger has been known to take down 2 lions. Let's do. I'm gonna do a little bit of just a really a minor blue highlight in the black hair of these characters. I don't want it to be so obvious that that's there. You can see it, if you look at a certain angle. That's all I really want. So nothing too big there. I also need to use. I'm gonna wash this guy's outfit a bit. I'm actually gonna wash both of their outfits. I'm also gonna do this dragon, kind of a yellow. Oh geez. That's cool. Okay. Even looked at Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash is awesome. It's gonna do a little bit of a gray highlight here. Okay. Is it safe to assume that at least one Jackie Chan figure is a drunken master guy? I don't know if I have a Jackie Chan miniature. Actually, I'm pretty sure this set did not come with a Jackie Chan miniature, which is a little sad. Where is the blue ink? So we're gonna do a little blue ink. Yeah, Speedster's got a buff in second edition, which is good. They needed it. So yeah, Nelson, what do you think about trying out Fistful of Kung Fu? Is that something you'd be interested in doing? Because we could use these miniatures for it, and then even like some Batman miniatures would be great for that. A bit of a Yeah, and I'll explain it to you a little bit. So essentially, Fistful of Kung Fu, it's an Osprey game, and Osprey games allow you to use whatever miniatures you have on hand. The only thing they ask is that you remain consistent about scale and basing, right? So if we said, okay, we're going to use, um, you know, 30 to 32 millimeter characters only, and they have to be on 30 mil round bases with perhaps some exception for large characters, the way Batman is. Then you can use whatever you wanted, right? So then we would just use Batman miniatures, or I would use a bunch of stuff: Batman, Anima Tactics, um, Wild in the Streets. I'd even use my Lebowski miniatures, because this game even has like um, bystanders in it. Has rules for bystanders. So what's I gonna say? So you can use whatever miniatures you want, and the whole thing is you build yourself a little warband, and is the system itself is supposed to um, it's supposed to give you like it's supposed to be set in like a Hong Kong action movie theme. That's the theme. So you kind of play out when you're playing a game, you're playing out a scene, and in every scene you have a protagonist. One on working on each side, maybe a protagonist and an antagonist. So all the scenarios are like attacker, defender, um, and it's a pretty. Let's see. Starting next week, my schedule should be better. I got family visiting completely booked with clients daily, so I'm exhausted every. Yeah, I don't even sweat it, dude. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, so we don't have to play it anytime soon. I just wanted to know your interest. Anyway, um, so you build your crew. You have to have one protagonist, and then you have to have you can have up to one bruiser, and then the rest of the guys that you have in your crew are essentially just kind of chaff, right? They're not the best guys. So you have that, and you play out a scene, and the way it works is you have your each miniature basically has a quality value, right? The quality value tells you what you need to activate that character. So when you're trying on your turn, when you're trying to activate characters, you basically pick a model that hasn't activated yet. You declare you're going to attempt to activate that model, and then you pick a number of dice, anywhere from 0 to 3, and you roll dice, and depending on what you roll on the dice tells you how many successes and failures you have, and that kind of dictates how you activate the model. Um, but I know it sounds a little complicated, but when we show you that in action, it's really, really stupidly easy. But here's kind of the cool part. So you roll your dice and you say, okay, well, this miniature is a quality of 4, for example. Let's say he's not a protagonist, because protagonists are usually quality 2, meaning you just need a 2+ to activate the model. So you say, okay, this model has a quality of 4. I'm going to roll 2 dice and hope for at least 1 4 on those 2 dice to activate the model, right? So then you roll your 2 dice, and let's say you roll 1 4 or 1 4+, so it could be whatever, and then 1 fail, essentially 1 3 or less. So this game says, okay, well, for every success that you have, you can do an action. But for every failure that you have, the other guy's protagonist gets to do a reaction, which makes it really, really interesting, right? Because it's like you're even though there are kind of turns where you're attempting to go with all of your models. Your turn, I mean, both players are playing the entire time, because, like, let's say my regular thug was trying to activate, and he had one success, one failure. Then the other guy gets to go, okay, well, based on your failure, I'm gonna do this with my protagonist. Like, I'm gonna take cover, or um, I'm gonna do an attack on a model that I'm engaged with, that kind of thing. And it ends up being really cool and really cinematic, because you have your protagonists, which are just capable of doing all these, difficult things as a consequence of reactions. And then you have all these, like, your basic thug henchmen characters that are struggling to try to keep up with the two protagonists. So it ends up, being a really cool thematic system. You get to design your protagonists the way you want. Like, if you want to use an Oni or something like that, then there are even rules for, like, magic and that kind of stuff in this game. Flight, and most of the time you might be wanting to play a gangster and that kind of thing. And then with the point system that they have, that usually means that, if you pick a really, really strong protagonist, that in general that means you're going to have a weaker sidekick and a weaker group of henchmen models. So there's that. Then you have equipment and all that other kind of stuff. But at its heart, it's a pretty simple game. I like that there's kind of a sudden death rule. Like, you activate something, and if you fail to activate it, your turn is over. It has a, like, Blood Bowl turnover style rule. Some people may not like that. Some people did not like don't like the Blood Bowl turnover rule, and so that's why they liked other games like Dread Ball, Guild Ball, that kind of thing. I think it's cool because it gives the game a certain amount of tension. And also, the other thing that's cool is the games are supposed to go really fast. According to the designers, they say they run about an hour or less, which is absolutely, in my opinion, perfect as a companion for, as a companion game for Batman, right? Um, so I think it's, oh, that's the wrong green. I need a green to paint cash money, cash money. Let's see. I need, like, almost like a forest green. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting tonight. We're painting Dragon Tide miniatures, but again, please don't go out and buy Dragon Tide. Just don't give them money. I'm just trying to enjoy the money I already lost to them from the Kickstarter, and most likely be using these miniatures to try out their game, but also to play a Fistful of Kung Fu. What happened to my really, really good, like, foresty gray? This is actually, this color here looks like cash money. I wonder if Dizzy's streaming right now. We'll find out. She may be up later or whatever. And then I also want to look up another thing. These models are actually getting quite close to being done. So if I have time, I can at least get some airbrush work done on the the rest of this set. So big old bricks of cash money like that. All right, Guile trying to get that fat stacks, man. Oh yeah, I forgot. I should try to do little American flags on his guns. Boop 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 boop. So I want to play. I want to play Guild Ball this week in Batman. Hopefully I can get both on Thursday. You know, maybe Mark gets down here early. I get the Guild Ball guys together. We play a game of Guild Ball. Then Nelson shows up, Jason, and we play a game of Batman. That would be ideal. That would be ideal if we can do that. Oh, dang. There's even bullets on the ground and all this. Guy's got a pretty hardcore base. Damn. Guile's pretty dope. Beep, 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 beep. Uh-oh. Is my this headset may be dying. Okay. I'm gonna plug it in. Boop, boop. So this is gonna be a little restricting. Okay, that is one downside to the having a wireless headset. It's the fact that the batteries could die on you. What else do I need to do here? On this, oh yeah, the flag. Boop, 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 boop. I guess it'd be easiest to just paint a white square on each shoulder pad here. Just paint a white square first, like that. Honestly, that's what Batman really needs with his creative basing. You do a good job with them, Octave. Don't give me. Yeah, well, I mean, I stamp them all the same way. It's pretty generic. But this basing with the cash and the bullets, pretty awesome. Okay. This guy's gonna have such Murica on his arms. It'd be awesome. Murica. Okay. Okay. All right, so I don't think there's a good way to stripe this, so if I screw it up, I really don't care. As long as you can kind of tell what it is from afar. And you should just be able to see stripes, right? For what it's worth, I do recommend the Wood Downey Jr. True Believe and Nice Guys very much. Thank you for the recommendation. Oh, that was terrible. I just made a huge, like, blunky. A huge blunky mess right there. Looks like he's suffering a shoulder injury right now because I got some red on there. Okay, good. That's what happens. I'm now wrestling with a cord, and it's like moving my brush around for me. I sure, my wife and I did want to watch Nice Guys, so I'm sure we will get around to it. Problem is, hey, parents, we have a hard time getting any kind of time for movies and that kind of stuff. All right. So now, just a little Merca here. It's actually maybe too small to actually determine what it is. I may have to repaint the red stripes. But like you can barely make that out. I'm definitely gonna have to repaint the red stripes. That's a lot of sonic boom going on right there. Sonic boom. Let's get a little more red stripe. America, fuck yeah. There we go. That looks better. There we go. It does look better. Okay, so now let's go ahead and wash. Oh, wait. Let's do a little bit of edge highlighting here. Whoa, got all kinds of colors going on there. America, okay. Let's see. I don't see anything from these minis on eBay. Can the price for the game, if you buy it for the minis, be much more than GW? I don't know what the retail price is of this, of the game, but you can look it up. It's Dragon Tides. Like, see if you might be able to find a copy on Amazon or something like that. I try not to make this company money, but again, it's your choice. If you like the minis and you want to buy them, then that is up to you, right? I can't stop you. I mean, the people, I'm being hypocritical here because there were people that pulled me aside when I was going to back this, saying, don't back it. These guys are bastards. And I was like, I love Bruce Lee, though. And so I did it anyway. So that wasn't, not a proud moment, not necessarily for me, but, is what it is. I'm just randomly putting a few different colors down here on the base just to make it more realistic, like make it look more like a pile of rubble. Like there's a lot of just chaos on the ground here from where Bolo destroyed the earth. So just painting in the oddball color here and there. That's probably good enough. And then, so here, this is going to be interesting because I'm going to take some white and I'm going to highlight the tiger character. So the idea here is we're going to highlight the tiger character, and then we're going to wash the whole thing and see what that does. Okay. Right, so a little Seraphim Sepia, which is like, used to be like one of my go-to washes. Loved Seraphim Sepia. I still kind of like it. So I'm going to use it here on the dragon, the gold dragon on the back, to kind of give that a little depth, right? And then I'm going to use it on essentially this entire base. Is there a John Saxon mini in Jim Kelly? Oh my God, a Jim Kelly miniature? I would kill or die for that. Freaking Black Samson miniature? Be so good. Now you're talking cool kung fu references. I don't know if you've ever watched Black Samson, but that's a cool movie. My favorite is the English dub, and the character named Fat Dog. I don't know why, but Fat Dog was my favorite. Especially when they introduce Fat Dog, he's like, "So you're a fat dog." I don't know, that just gets me every time. I was like, I love Fat Dog. Fat Dog is great. Yeah. I shall have to watch Black Samson. For sure, watch Black Samson. I mean, it's like any exploitation movie. It drags a little bit towards the middle, but it's a good movie. All right, so let's shade this dude's cash money base. I love that his base is cash money and bullets. Damn, I hate how much I love these sculpts. Well, love is a strong word. I don't love these sculpts. I just think they're really entertaining. Like whoever put this together and decided that that's what the base is going to be for that miniature, freaking awesome. Cheddar Monkey. Oh, minis based on the 5 deadly venoms might be neat. Oh, hell. That's what I'm saying, man. Like this whole genre, it's so good. It's so ripe for the picking that they need to make. We need to have a legitimate company come in and just get these properties and make a tried and true miniature skirmish game based on, these characters. You could have Knight do it. Have Knight design this stuff. They're really good at tying in the fluff, or the being faithful to the source material with regards to this kind of stuff. And the one-armed swordsman, hell yeah. Are you talking like classic one-armed swordsman or the one-armed swordsman from the Blade? I mean, there's a lot. Damn. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Jet Li characters alone would be amazing. Oh man. One can dream, my friends. One can dream. Okay. Here's something I need to look up before I hit the bases. Hang on one sec. I'm sorry I have to do this, but I've got this, my headset's being plugged in right now. All right. They could do movie packs. I'd like to see Fearless with Jet Li, Nathan Jones, and the Japanese guy he fates off who escapes me. Looking over night model Harry Potter models, and I have to say, even though I was never a big Harry Potter fan, those models look super legit. Nice, Lord Voldemort. I'm not really much of a Harry Potter fan, but I'm gonna have to be. I'm pretty sure people are gonna want me to paint it, so why not? Oh damn, Iron Monkey set. Oh my god. See, this is like a gold mine. This is a gold mine, my friends. Where the hell did I put? Oh my gosh, hold on. Okay. So let's paint the base. The base is black, and I mean, there's not much left to be done on these guys. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Where is? How do I not just have black out here? Didn't I just have regular? I do. Okay. Iron Monkey set. Now you are talking. Would love to see that. There's so many good properties. It's crazy. I would even go for like a Meals on Wheels set, or they have like a Cynthia Rothrock type character, so you could do her. What was her name? China O'Brien, I think, or forget. But there's all kinds of like that whole Hong Kong crew that was like Jackie Chan, Yuen Bu, Samo. Do the cool Samo characters. Yeah, there's just so many. And you're talking about Gordon Liu, and obviously all the Ip Man property. Donnie Yen. So cool. Obviously, at some point, you'd want to bring Chuck Norris in. You'd want a Game of Death. Like the Game of Death pack would be awesome. And then what's that? What's that Thai one? That Ong Bak, I think. That would be a sick one too. You can have the Thai kung fu movie, or the Thai martial arts movie on there. The Ong Bak franchise. And then also, yeah, Lone Wolf McQuaid. And yeah, and you've got, we were talking about Jim Kelly, but even, what's the other guy? I forget his name. He was actually one, like a side character in Enter the Dragon. Ron Van Cleef. Yeah. You want to have Ron Van Cleef, the Black Dragon. Then I was saying, you definitely want to have a pack for Barry Gordy's the Last Dragon. So you'd have Bruce Leroy, Shogun of Harlem. You got Johnny. The list just goes on forever, man. You could have so many cool. Ernie Reyes Jr. That would be pretty sick to have an Ernie Reyes Jr. Sonny Chiba. Yeah, now you're talking Street Fighter. James Ryan. Yeah, this is like an endless source of really, really cool characters you could do. Man, I guess these bases have these little arrows in them for facings. So I'm going to leave them a different color so that you can actually tell what your facings are for the board game. You don't need facing for Fistful of Kung Fu. Yep, Shokasugi. Now you're talking Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja. Um, that's a whole other cool. Damn, you would have expansions for years, man. Because now you're talking, Shokasugi, Sunny Chiba, those guys would come basically in like a Japanese expansion where you have the Japanese martial arts stars. And we can't forget guys like, Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all those guys. Franco Nero, since he did that one Canon Ninja movie. What about, I don't even know the actress's name, but the girl that played Kelly from Breakin', she was in Ninja 3. And then if you really just want to go down that road and start getting into awful territory, you could do Three Ninjas, the that Canadian property of movies that they must have made like 400 movies for Three Ninjas. It's awful, awful, awful franchise. Only if Steven Seagal figure is breaking Sean Connery's wrist like the D-Pack is. What about for the hell of it? What was the name of that super cop force or whatever? It had Mark DeCosco and it had Coolio in it. That was a hilarious action flick. Watching Coolio do martial arts on a car that's being hung on a crane was hilarious. Yep, Big Trouble in Little China. Obviously, you could do that. Well, yeah, I mean they have the board game for it, but if you had this kind of property where it was like this expansive collectible miniatures game, you could probably still, get some clearance to do Big Trouble in Little China. Then don't forget like Eric Roberts, Best of the Best. How hilarious would that be? And Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita. We like to say in my house we like to mispronounce the name, so we say Pat Moriarty and Ralph Machacho. That movie's got Pat Moriarty and Ralph Machacho, the Karate Childs. If you're gonna do Karate Kid though, then you have to have well, you don't have to, but like a Jaden Smith miniature. Oh, how upsetting would that be? The Karate Kid with Zabka. I'd want to field a Cobra Kai crew with Johnny and the boys, Sensei John Cleese. You know, you have Terry Silver in there. That would be hilarious. We might be way too into this, but I don't care. It's fine. Don't judge me. Let's see. What am I doing wrong? Oh, flying guillotines, and you got Raul Julia and JCV. Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah, dude. Oh, Raul Julia as Bison. That'd be awesome. And then don't forget the Mortal Kombat. Then you got Christopher Lambert. You got my girl. Who is the one that played Sonya Blade? You know who I'm talking about. That would be a really sick crew too. These two really have cool bases to them, don't they? Warriors, but only a couple key characters because way too many gangs. Oh yeah, Warriors. That would be awesome. Come out, play. They did they did a set of miniatures and a game that was essentially a callback to Warriors. I forget, it was on Kickstarter last year. A Matrix miniatures game. That would be like way off power scale from all the other genres. So you'd have to have a legend point or whatever if you wanted to play Neo or Smith or Morpheus. This base in particular is a little critical of how evenly you get it. And you get that edging down. Then you got Megaforce. Yes. Okay. These guys are looking pretty cool. Where is pretty? They're playable at this point. I just need to get the rest of the set done. Ooh, a bit of a mess on that jacket though. Wow, an oil stain back there. That's annoying. Yeah, I can I can just kind of flub it if I. There we go. If you have Saitama versus Squirrel Girl, the battle would never end because their superpowers, they never lose. Oh, Saitama. I don't know. I put Saitama over everybody, even Squirrel Girl. Okay. All right. So we're going to let these guys dry for a bit. We'll look at some comments. I mean, I have enough time to at least get the other stuff primed. Let's let this stuff dry. Where is... Uh-oh. Where is the cap for this brush? Here it is. John Wick set. I don't know. I think you may have to do a kind of like a sister or a companion rule set for Gun Fu, because now you're talking like John Wick, and then you have to have Tequila from Hard Boiled. So you got to have all the Chow Yun Fat characters. You got to have the killer. Gun Fu is its own. I think Gun Fu would be a kind of the hordes to the War Machine of the Kung Fu set. Just because it would be much more focused on the Gun Fu and having ranged attacks and that kind of stuff. Saitama defeats all SJWs, even Sarkeesian. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Tango and Cash, Escape from... So you got Snake Plissken, Escape from New York. Yeah, Gun Fu, I think, is its own... I think Gun Fu is its own sub game. I should do that Scar red. I should put a little bit of red on that Scar. Let's do that. Let's do that. I like that you brought up Tango and Cash. Pretty rad. Ooh, no good way to grip this. Here we go. Does Antonio Banderas mariachi count as Gun Fu? I would say yes. Yeah. Him and like that crew would be super expensive. It would be him and his two buddies that come in from out of town. And then obviously then you've got Danny Trejo, so you got Machete in there. One figure could be Kurt Russell in a dress. You could now you're talking Gun Fu. Now you could do Kingsman. You could do, I don't know, just for fun. You could even do like Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrel. Snatch. Oh, Boris the Blade. How cool would that be? And Bullet Tooth Tony. How cool would it be to have those kinds of characters in there? If we're going Robert Rodriguez, you got Planet Terror. Okay. Oh. So yeah. So we can I can start. We can at least prime these characters. The Cynthia Rothrock, Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee, and Billy Blanks. So these are the other 4 characters. I'm going to have to carefully remove the other guys from the stands. Kind of set them off to the side so they can dry. This dude is still my favorite sculpt. I might just carry that guy around with me on like board game night and say, okay, well, we're playing. Okay, there's my piece. You know, whatever game we're playing. Okay, there's me. Uh-oh. This is going to be a little trick here to get Bolo off his. There we go. Lethal Weapon. You could use Danny Glover in the Predator expansion. The Predator guys would be pretty ridiculous too. If you had Dutch, you have Dutch, you have Billy, you have forget the name of that actor, Bill Duke. You got Blaine, so you got Jesse the Body. All right. Okie doke. So I guess we might as well just get these guys underway. But before we do that, I should probably do what I didn't do on the other set and kind of give it a once over and see. Make sure there isn't any crazy cleanup stuff. George Hamilton, Zorro the Gay Blade. I think we just named like 400 characters that you could have if this was an expansive miniature game. Wow, I just don't think this sculpt is very good. Ooh, look at this. There's kind of problem here with Brandon Lee's arm. It's like coming out of its socket. It's kind of a problem. Yeah, it's just not. Okay, I'm going to have to fill that. Dang, we're talking Zorro at this point. Now, technically, you could make all of these characters in a Fistful of Kung Fu. You would just have to individually make every single character. And then within your gaming groups, you'd have to agree whether or not the depiction was accurate or not. Swordfu. Yeah, now you got all the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Flying Daggers type stuff. You got all the Swordfu stuff. And you know, obviously you have the blade. It would be cool to do like, you know, Jet Li, Black Mask, like those characters that are superhuman, like Black Mask, and you could do Jean-Claude Van Damme's, what was it called? Android or whatever. Was it called Android? I forget. Cyborg. Sorry, Cyborg. Let's see what's going on. Yeah. All right. Yeah, David Carradine would have a bunch of different rules. How come Billy Blank's base sucks? That's just a nature base. Everybody else kind of has a cool base. Well, Brandon Lee's base isn't that great. It's just a brick base with a gutter behind it. It's not terribly awesome. Right. Let's do Brandon Lee on this one. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's base is cool because it's basically a dojo with the yin yang symbol. Yeah, Bruce Lee's Kato and the Green Hornet. What's his name? Van. I forget his name. I met him once. The Green Hornet. Poor guy. All he's ever asked about is Kato. What's it like working with Bruce Lee? Are we allowing the Wu-Tang Clan movie? Hell, oh, you're talking about the Man with the Iron Fist? Hell yeah! Because then you got like the Lion Clan. You got all the different what was that, Poison Clan? That's freaking awesome. Of course he would have all that. It'd be rad. Okay. Yeah, let's do some priming here. Clean that. Let's see, airbrush. I actually wanted to do. I was going to build an In Her Majesty's Name crew that was just the characters from The Man with the Iron Fists. Because I really did love all the characters. I loved all like the escorts. They had their dope gang, and then you had like the Dave Bautista character. I forget, he turned into iron or something. Bautista and Russell Crowe in Gladiator. That big ass German dude in Gladiator. That's pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to clean. Hold on, it's gonna take me a minute just to clean my airbrush. Yeah, the golden statue. They did a part 2 to the Man with the Iron Fist. I never watched it though. I'm wondering if it was any good. Because Russell Crowe in that first movie was so awesome. Like that was like his comeback, man. Russell Crowe was like dead to the world for a while there. And then he came back, and you're like, nah, Russell Crowe's good in this movie. Did a really good job. Like when he dropped off, everyone just thought he was just this crazy, hyper rageaholic, which he was. But you know, the Shaolin soccer count as kung fu. I don't know. I watched that movie like once. What was that other Bill Odenkirk movie? Would Statham crank count, or is that gun fu? Yeah, Statham would be gun fu, I think. This would be like the most expensive game ever, just because of all the licensing you'd have to do it. Each miniature would cost like $50. And you're like, damn it, I had to pay $50 just to get Ernie Reyes Jr. There's some what Cannonball Run just to get Jackie Chan. Yeah, you'd have to figure out how to get Dom DeLuise. Yes, I'm running a Cannonball Run 2 crew. It has Dom DeLuise, Burt Reynolds, and Jackie Chan. the only guy, the only guy who can fight is Jackie Chan, and he has a rule called shitty cameo, where he has to fight in sand, so he can't actually do his kung fu movies. So sad. What was that? What was that like recent movie that had the one that had Jackie Chan and Jet Li in it? And Jet Li was Sun Wukong in that movie. He was the Monkey King, Captain Chaos. Oh man, that movie was awful. What was it called? Oh, I don't remember. But it just had that horrible main character kid. Like I just wanted that kid to die or lose so bad. It's like, can we just get the Monkey King back, and then everybody else can die? Yeah, Forbidden Kingdom. I was like, man, what is this crap? Everyone was just waiting to see these two screen legends be on camera together. And they might have had, 20 minutes together in that movie. I mean, they were physically in the same scenes. Um, but it was just you just had the annoyance of the main character, and then the love interest girl that's like out for revenge. It's like, what the hell is this? I thought we wanted to see. We have Bulletproof Monk. Does Bart Simpson count as kung fu? Wow, we are really really reaching here. Uh oh, we're just about out of gloves. Good old gun fu. You know, there's a much cheaper way of doing all this kind of stuff, right? It's called RPG. You just make a action flick RPG. But who wants to do that? I want to do miniatures with cool rules and like cards, stat cards, and measure distances and run them across the board and punch each other. Okay, this one was a okay gem from when I was in college. Dragon Tiger Gate. I do not even know what movie that is, and now I need to know. I'm telling you, we need to bring back the kung fu genre and maybe like build our own fan sites and communities and all that stuff around it. Build our like YouTube channels around kung fu. Before, before the hipsters show up, okay? Before the freaking man bun floral beard guys show up. We gotta just lock this shit down. Look up the trailer. I will, man. Dragon Tiger Gate. It has 3 words, all of which denote cool kung fu movie. Dragon, tiger, and gate. Because yes, even gate. Because I don't know about you, but I think Tory Gate. Tory Gate pretty much means awesome kung fu movie. You'd have to do a Kung Fu Panda set. You know, a little Dustin Hoffman mammal in there. Jack Black and Seth Rogen. Angelina would all be part of that. I should use Brandon Lee as like a generic cop in Batman. He could replace one of my fat cops. Eagle and Snake Shadow was awesome. I feel like this Bruce Lee miniature is okay, but it's like almost like they spent more time putting him on a really cool base than really getting his features. I mean, you could totally tell it's Bruce Lee, don't get me wrong. I just thought maybe his musculature would be a lot better defined than it is on this mini. Well, let me send an address. Yeah, you can't put links in the chat, unfortunately. We need more Maggie Chung in this. And Yang Shi Yi. Gigi, or however you say her name. And then, classic Michelle Yeoh. Oh, Heroic Trio. That's a cool one. Okay, so now that we have all of these characters, my question is to you guys, which character or movie theme would be the most important for you? Let's say we're making this game right now, and we're all partners in the company, and we say, okay, each one of us can either elect to have their own specific choice for hero in amongst the initial releases, or a specific movie or theme. What would you choose? For me, this is an easy one. Zatoichi, huh? That's a cool one. But see, you might have to do a separate samurai one, because you got all kinds of that you can do there. Any thoughts? Like, what would be your go-to franchise? Would you say, in our meeting, you would say, this absolutely has to be part of the first wave of this game, or maybe it's the first expansion for this game. Like, give that a chew on that for a little bit. What do you think? I'll give you my answer, because my answer you should have, some of you may have picked up on from earlier. But my answer is The Last Dragon. So definitely Bruce Leroy, Shogun of Harlem, Johnny, Ernie Reyes Jr., and then you could have Vanity in there. First, and that the little breakdancing kid. So we could do the character. Yeah, like what's your must-have for this game? Because we went through like 800 examples of cool shit that you could have in the game, but like let's like get down to you can't do it all. Who is your must feature in the game? I think I have a clog in the airbrush. Hold on. Jackie Chan from Drunken Master. Okay, that's a good choice. I'd say yeah, for sure. That's a good choice. Yeah, so mine would be the first expansion. Because you can't, unfortunately, the world just isn't cool enough or ready for a core game from based around The Last Dragon. Oh my God! You know who we forgot? You know who? We forgot Pootie Tang. We forgot to put Pootie Tang in. He's one of my favorites. He fights with a belt. I love Pootie Tang. I don't know. It's like my favorite. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. Pootie Tang. Let's see. Can choose not to move to drink and grain an additional diet max out at 4. He's so illegal. Why is he OP? Pootie Tang is OP because of the belt. You could whoop anyone's ass with that belt. Pootie Tang, I guess he would cost a legend point. Like he is like way powerful. But there's nothing to indicate that he's like some sort of superhuman. So he doesn't necessarily have to be on the same like power scale as cyborgs or Universal Soldiers or the Black Mask experiments. Got a bit of a clog trying to work out. There it goes. I thought I had it. You forgot Black Dynamite. Hell yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to do black exploitation stuff, there's a lot you could do there too. You know, all the characters from One Down, Two to Go. You got Truck Turner, Isaac Hayes. A lot of good ones there. But Pootie Tang kind of being the modern, you know, the modern black exploitation. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Oh my God, Kung Fu Joe. So many good characters from I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. You can throw the mom in there. The mom, you know, you have to have a separate miniature. The mom is a 2-piece set. It comes with the mom, and then it comes with Stunt Double, who's the white guy with the, like Jufro, and he's got like the mustache. So when you're doing like all the intense kung fu moves, you have to switch out the miniature. I love I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Man, a pretty bad clog in here. What is going on? Do. Pootie Tang. Yeah, I really did enjoy Pootie Tang. Watch out! It's odd that you could basically make each set into factions if they really wanted to. True. Just 42 of you suckers against Kung Fu Joe. I would say this has been a pretty interesting feed. All we talked about was Kung Fu. Let's do this here. So I'm just going to do the white, and then I'm not going to do any color blocking tonight because I got to call it kind of early. Shaw Brothers expansion pack. Cool. Priestley's still a little bit wet, but okay. Alrighty. Let's clean this out. We'll do one more like looky-loo at the 4 that we finished. Okay. All right, very cool. All right, so we'll turn that off. And take off the gloves. Okay, so those guys are primed, which is good. They'll be nice and ready to go. Probably do a little bit of painting tomorrow night as well. Let's look at the ones that we finished. So here's Bolo. Really fun miniature. You got Guile, Dolph Lundgren. Hurt. Tiger Ip Man. And then they're calling this guy Train Wong. And I'm not really sure what the reference is there. But again, this is my favorite sculpt. I think I'm going to be playing a lot of Train Wong. So anyway, with that, that is going to end it for tonight, you guys. I am going to call a little early because we did start a little early. So I'm trying to get some sleep. So anyways, with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk more Kung Fu tomorrow. So I'll probably be painting tomorrow as well. So anyway, have a good night, and we'll catch you on the next one.